Right, the most difficult part of this repair is going to be disconnecting the switchboard that comes off the main motherboard of the radio. You can see it's connected with lots of links and lots of sort of multiple coloured wires, and there's a capacitor down the side here. There's that little red capacitor just down here. Also, that's all connected back to the board, so it's imperative you get the obviously the connections back in the right place. So I've marked up the board as best I can. I've also taken photographs. If you ever do a job like this, I always recommend you take photographs of various different angles, because I can guarantee that if you put it back and you can't find how a connection goes, if you've got a photograph, you've got a good chance of finding exactly where the wire came or where the track used to run in the before you took it apart, sort of thing. You can also more or less guarantee that the photograph you'll get the wire that you're interested in will be parallexed by another wire, something like that. So what I tend to do is also, after taking a photograph, I tend to do a video as well and sort of pan round slowly, looking at the area I'm interested in, because more than likely you're going to find a point where you can actually see the part that you were concerned of in the first place. So if you pan round, as you're moving, the parallax shifts about, and you can see parts that you couldn't see before from the photograph, sort of thing. If you get into a certain angle, I can't, for example, see where it's hard to see now, but you can't see where that resistor goes. But it's when you move around, you can clearly see. It's quite obvious. So it looks like ready to go now. I think what I'll do is I'll start to disconnect all these links. I've got a flashing warning light on the camera saying it suggests I've got running out of memory, I think. But let's see how this goes. Get these wires linked off and get this board either folded out the way this side or removed totally, and let's try and get this module out. Right, what I said before in the end was I disconnected all the connectors on the top and the right hand side. Everything's marked up, and hopefully it's marked up. Got photographs as well. And I've just bent the switches over. We've got cables and connectors on the other side going off to the RF front end. That exposes the connections here now, which need to be removed. And these are fairly straightforward. Just with the soldering iron, just heat those and lift them out of the way. Actually, so I can do this on camera. I can just show you the way I tend to do this. So just heat the connection up and just bend the wire up. You can sometimes do it with maybe a pointy nose pliers. Usually if you just get the wire like that, just bend it out, get away from the solder point. You don't really need to desolder these, I don't think. Just make sure that obviously there's another wire going there that goes off to the module. You need to make sure that that's all still connected. So you just need to go around disconnecting all of these wires, and then so there's a couple on the other side of the board here, on the other side of the module, and then hopefully this module will just lift out. But this is the time where you have to be very careful and make sure you don't disconnect anything that you don't know where it goes. Well, the module's out. When you undo these tracks are really flimsy and don't stick well to the board. So it's very easy to take the tracks out. You can see on the bottom right hand corner where the pin came out of that hole there. There was a track there that went up to this point here. I've tore that out. So that's not a problem because the module's lead will actually reach there anyway, but watch out for that, because if you pull them out and you just don't spot that, you put it all back together and it won't work. That's if it's ever going to work again. I hope it does, because obviously this isn't my radio. So that's the underside of the module, and that's obviously got that out. Next step is to take the screen off it and have a look inside and see what the transistors are. AF117s I'm expecting. And then we'll go from there on what we're going to do. Probably replace them with the Russian transistors that I've just got in. But there is also the option of removing the screen. But I think we'll probably go with the Russian transistors. That's it. In my mind, would be the better thing to do with these radios if they're going to last any length of time. They're saying that I've had a lot of luck with zapping these transistors, and they seem to this radio is still working sort of 5-6 years later on. So I think it's 50-50 really. What you do, you either keep it genuine with the original Mallard transistors, or you replace them with the Russian transistors that obviously aren't genuine but will probably last forever. So let's get this module apart. Just out of interest, this module is the LP1164. So this is a AM, FM, IF amplifier. You can see the cores inside. Some of them are covered up. You can't see under these connectors, these stickers. And it's interesting to see that it says if the module fails, send it back to Robert's radio. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think they'll be too impressed if I sent this back now and asked them to replace the transistors because they failed after 50 years or whatever it is. Okay, let's get the module apart and have a look. I'm going to try and get this cover off this thing. So the base cover just clips off. That just unclips. That's easy enough. It looks like there's two tags either side on the module. Then use the iron to bend one of the tags away. Also be careful again here with the tabs, the tracks on the board, because they are just as fragile as the ones were on the radio. Oh, there's one end of the module lifted. I'll use some solder wick this side because I can't actually feel the tab. What I tend to do is I tend to heat the solder up, and then just feel for the sort of like the metal tab that's on the case of the screen of the module. Just whip that off. Should just lift off really in theory if I just heat one end. Just slide this away. Okay. That's the module out. Onto the underside of the module. And there it is in all its glory. That's what's all inside. Now there are electrolytic capacitors in here. I'll check them just to see what they're like. I don't expect them to have had any problem. Now this is AF115 and 116s, so I think they should be fine with these transistors I've got. But I'm just going to do a quick check on the get the transistors out. We'll do a check on the transistor tester and check for leakage and shorts and things, and then we'll go from there. But maybe recap the module as well. Let's have a look, see what we've got to do. I'll just show you this quickly. This is my little Mullard book. You can get these, they're not actually that cheap, but these are the little Mullard data books that they used to be around in the 60s and 70s. And that's the information on the two transistors we're looking at, AF116 and 117. So you want to freeze the frame. That might be interesting for those who are interested in replacing the transistors. And the AF117, I'll give you the AF117 data as well, and AF118 as well. These are great little books. I think there are some PDFs, some of them as well, so that's quite useful, but it's just nice to grab a book sometimes rather than go on the internet and have a look. So let's get these transistors out and get them tested. Right, before we test this first transistor I've got out, which is the AF115, these are the replacement transistors I bought today, or a couple of days ago. These are GT 322Bs, I think, yep. And they didn't actually come in this box. They actually came in the original cardboard box with the all in Russian writing. Obviously, original devices. These are the same sort of 4-pin device, but they're like the AF127 series, which is a smaller type BC108 style case. And the pin-out's slightly different. I've done a quick sketch here of what the AF117 is like and what the replacement is. And these transistors are starting to become more expensive to buy. I think that people are twigging on that people are after them. The sort of going rate, as this video sort of went to print, for want of a better word, 10 transistors would cost you about 10-11 quid. So they were about £1 each. I managed to buy these 100 transistors for 35 quid, so I was lucky. And I know Radio Cruncher bought a similar set. I don't know what he paid for them, but I put them into a little anti-static box just to protect them a bit better, a bit of anti-static foam. So these are our fallback transistors. I think if we use these, we might use these or we might not. I need to actually confirm that these transistors are a good match for these AF115s, and I'm hoping, Graham, you can confirm that. I'm sure they are AF115 and 116s. So let's do a test on these AF115s first, just to make sure. I've got the pin out here, and I've also, of course, got it in the Mullard book. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to go straight to the screen connection on this transistor. I hope you can see the meter here. Let me just zoom in a bit on the meter. The trouble is, wherever I set the meter, it looks like it's getting a reflection, as it always is. It's very difficult to get it in a place where I can see it and you can see it at the same time. Actually, I suppose I could just use the viewfinder on the camera to see it. So, okay. Unfortunately, I've got two red leads here, which is really annoying, so I'll have to keep a track of what I'm doing. So I'm going to the screen connection first. The screen connection is the one in the centre with the big gap in it. So I found the screen connection. And all I'm first of all interested in is any continuity to any of the other junctions. So this will be the collector. Okay, that's not looking good. I'll just check I am on the screen lead. Certainly looks like it. So the screen's shorted to the collector. Dead short to it. That's absolutely had it. All the connections are shorted on that transistor. So that transistor is, yep, definitely no bloody good. So that's you've got the choice now of zapping these transistors or replacing them with the GT 333 what are they? 322B, 322Bs, 328Bs, whatever they are. So I think what I'm going to do is get the other transistors out. I'm going to upload this video, and I hope I'm going to do a bit more research on making sure that these transistors are going to match. Because if I've got this module out and put it back in, it doesn't work. This radio is not coming apart again. I've told the seller that there's a chance that I won't get it going because of the amount of time it will take me to get it apart again. It's just not going to be worth it for the money I'm going to charge for the repair. It's just, it's not viable, to be honest with you. And you can get working Roberts R707s for about 40-50 quid anyway. So yeah, let's get the other transistors out, and what I'll do from then, I'll make sure we've got a good match, and we'll proceed to the next part of the video.